It's Mark Fossils here, and today I just want to spend a couple of minutes speaking about the simple progressive report of findings. This system is a super simple system. It's conversational, and in fact, it's about saying less, and at the same time having people ascend more. Now, by ascend, I mean to elevate their perspective, their expectations, their engagement with you as a chiropractor, so that they can see that whilst they've been getting good results, they're happy with what they've got. There's more. So when we have a big picture in front of someone, then they are more likely to grow into it than if our picture for them or with them or for ourselves around what we do is small. Then there's nothing for a person to grow into. It's just like, okay, well, I've come here, I've had a transaction, and now I'm going to go. So if you want to, incidentally, if you want a copy of the worksheet on this one, just comment Prof, Prof. All right, so progressive exams and reports then mark the completion of a phase of care. They're like they're analog markers, and they're part of a nurturing process for people, because this is about indicating that we've met certain milestones, and we're here to acknowledge them and then make a new decision. So they can lead to a new phase of the journey, and they're really important. It's critically important. Now, what we often find there is, when it comes to guiding practice members through their care, many chiros are amazing at the report of findings. The red carpet gets rolled out, and no stones left unturned, and the explanations of chiropractic just ooze out of them, and it goes often way longer than it need to. In fact, that's a story and a discussion for another day. But when it comes to progressive report of findings, it is often a sometimes thing. When we get clients come into us and we ask them about their report of findings, they say, "Oh, well, yeah, I do them sometimes." It's not good enough. Sometimes is not part of a person's journey. It's not honouring the person's journey. Even if it's for completion of care, it's really necessary to do the progressive report of findings. So, there's often an intrinsic thing within chiros. We get excited about the possibilities that exist for a person when they come dragging themselves in with all sorts of things going on. We can see that, hey, we can help this. It's an exciting future. And and there's the initial report of findings is when we have this great vision for the person, and we get to the progressive, and most of that's cleared. And so, as far as the person's concerned, well, they've sorted, they've got what they came for. And as far as the chiro is concerned, all the parts are in pain or out of pain, and things seem to be functioning okay. So the passion for that person's future tends to subside. So I don't know whether you've noticed that within yourself, the challenge of the chase, so to speak, with a new person. Then when we're going into the scaling of care beyond that, where the real changes take place. So it's amazing what happens when we get into regenerative care if we have the time to do that. So unfortunately, many practice members just see that their encounters with your practice are incidents. They're not a relationship involving a journey or a process. So, when we look at this progressive, then it's not all about the day, the time when we do it and deliver it. And I think this is really important for us to get, is that the progressive report of findings, firstly, is a very brief conversation, just like the initial report of findings. It should be pre-framed like crazy prior to that. Like in the initial report of findings, the pre-framing is happening in the first visit, and if you're doing a pre-care appointment, then the pre-framing is happening there. So when we look at the progressives and successive progressives through regenerative care, which could go on for many years, into optimization care, which could go on for a lifetime. There's still a pre-framing that takes place. So the weight isn't on the reported findings. So the weight is not on this particular event. It's really just a casual catch up, a little chat with a person. So the key on this one too is that practice members have usually made their mind up by the time they get to the progressive reported findings, no matter which number one it is. They've got some considerations going there. They've made sense of this to themselves, and so they're ready to do a certain thing. So what we're there to do is to firstly make sure we've got measurements of the journey. So along with the testing and measuring along the way, the practice member should also be measuring too. They should be observing what's going on with their physiology, with their body, how their body is functioning relative to the time frames that are passing. So how they were compared to how they are now. So with that, then we build a response potential, and this response potential is keeping people looking forward to the next stage of care. Keeping the prize out in front of them, keeping the picture greater, and pre-framing it along the way, constantly reminding them along the way, so that when the event occurs, they've got a good sense of what they're going to do, where they want to go, and how they're going to get there. So the tests and measurements happen the visit before, and then we go into the progressive report of findings. So the progressive report of findings then on the innate model chart, which is what we use within Quest to delegate based on brain function. You've got, if you like, right, left brain here, and we've got hind and forebrain there, just to get you some orientation on that one. So within this brain context then, and with the functional units of your practice, the first thing that we have here in any protocol within our system is the agreement. All right. So when we're practicing management by agreements, this is an attractive practice model. It's based on every single thing having to do with agreements. So we've effectively, with the first thing we'd be saying to the person is, look, we've completed what we set out to complete. Remember, when you first came in, we set out to accomplish whatever it was. So there's a completion of the agreement, and I think this is really important that all agreements must be followed through. So we're now complete. We started with an end in mind. This is now the end, or whatever phase it is. It could be their 10th phase of care, but we're at the end of that. So in other words, we're taking a journey. It's just like kids in the back seat of the car saying, are we there yet? Are we there yet? Well, this is about giving them the opportunity to recognize where we are relative to wherever there is. So, and part of our thing with our clients, our practice members, is for them to get that we're on a journey that is not about a destination. There's within any vitalistic system, there's constant change that's taking place, and they're part of this. They're involved. They're not an innocent, disinterested bystander. It's about them and us as part of a team. So what we look at here is what was their intent when they started, and what are the values that they've shown to us along the way. Now, you may have got some of these values right at the beginning of the first visit, and others have revealed themselves along the way. This person loves to swim or to play golf or to drive race cars or whatever it happens to be, and they've got some metrics with that. They've already identified, and we've identified with them, what it is that's important for them. And so they have some intent behind why they're doing what they're doing, and why chiropractic then can be a part of that. And so we need to lead into that. We need to feed into that to allow them to reconfirm with themselves the importance of chiropractic in their life, or in this journey so far. And obviously it's unfolding as they go. So that's the the key area of attract and start remaining attractive to that person, because they're what they love and what we love, even though they're in maybe different things or different dimensions of the same thing, are really important to each of us. So, and possibly quite different. So in other words, they love chiropractic because they can drive their car faster around the racetrack when they're under care and when their body is functioning well as compared with before. And we love chiropractic because we see the huge benefit of people into the future, into the impact on humanity and so forth. So there's that element there. Then we can look at the discovery phase. So the discovery phase is in nurture. In nurture, then, what we're looking at here is the markers from the past, right? So this is about noticing. This is about discovery, right? So we're discovering what's going on. So there was an agreement there, and then along the way, we go through a method of reflection. And it's very useful to have a backtrack frame. In other words, a looking backwards, because often, we have a certain situation, the situation's resolved, and it could be pain, it could be sickness, it could be discomfort of some sort, and we have a short memory for that and tend to forget it. So we want people to recognize how far they've come. So, remember back then when you had this going on at this level, and now we're here. This is, what have you been noticing about that? And rather than tell them, we ask them. So what are they noticing? And this, once again, is something that we would have been picking up on throughout the course of their care. So this is nothing that has to be done at the progressive report of findings, because we've got a pretty good idea working with this person over the previous 12 weeks or whatever that time frame has been, that they're noticing certain things, that we're discovering certain things are shifting and changing, and it's not preferably not even the things that they came in for. And that's the real power of this, is that we can get some reflection going back into their past. So the next area is into what we call the quadrant 3 of our journey here with people, and that is the investigation phase. So investigation is looking deeper in. It's looking at distinctions. So making sure that the distinctions might be very, very small, but they're significant, and people start to make sense of them. People start to make sense of this, whatever this is happening because of that. Is because of that. Right, so this is happening because of that. So in other words, this change that I've been discovering over in here, which is linked to my value over here, is changing because of what? And this is where they start to look at the time frames involved, because of the continuity that I've been doing with my care. Because of the chiropractors removing interferences from the nerve system. Whatever that happens to be, this is happening because of that. It's really, really valuable. It's very, very powerful for the person to make those distinctions, because then they start to drive this even more themselves, right? So they're looking at things from a different perspective here, but they take ownership at this level. So the next level we go into is the opportunities phase. So the opportunities then, where to from here? So what else? What else is possible here? And the key to this possibilities, get my spelling right, with these possibilities here is a simple choice. In fact, there's two choices. Two choices being, we can close your case file. No matter how insane that may seem, always giving them that choice. You may close your case file, or we can go through to the next phase of care that you need. It's quite a simple process there, where the person is just given this opportunity to say, "Oh, why would I? Why would I? I mean, this is ridiculous. Why? What a stupid suggestion here that you close the case file." But when you do that, when you're willing to do that, and in fact even demonstrate that with your hands, just clap your two hands together, so we can close your case file, or we can go into the next phase of care that you need, which is, and then you just lay that out, and the person will make the decision. There's no convincing, there's no salesy stuff. It's simply, what do you want to do? Shrug your shoulders at the same time. It doesn't really matter. Just allow that person to process it, and based on this, they know that the agreements are being kept. They can trust you from that position. They know that that there is a reflection on the past, and that there's been significant shifts taking place, even though subtle. Some of them may be quite subtle. There's also distinctions that they've made, and they've realised that this bone affects this nerve, which affects this organ, which affects the way I feel, or whatever it is. And then they've got some opportunities there. They've got they can make a call on two choices. And they always have freedom of choice. They don't feel like they're being pushed into a corner. So that's the name of the game with the progressive. It's such an easy thing to do. It's done straight after you've adjusted the person. It takes just a few minutes. You would show them the post studies that you've done with scans or postural photos or whatever it happens to be. They're aware of that though. This is just confirmation now. They're starting to trust themselves, trust the process. So you don't have to go overboard with going through all the detail of back to their X-rays and back to the various scans and so forth. This little discussion here really can take maybe 2 minutes. So and that's all it is. That it just validating, verifying, another little reflection, another look forward as to why they're here, and they connect with the services with the why, and they're ready to say, yeah, sure, this is cool. I'm happy. I'm all on board. So that's it. So that's the progressive. There's a worksheet. If you haven't got the worksheet, just click below and add prof in the comments, and we'll make sure you get it. So until next time, I'm Mark. Cheers.